Welcome. I'm glad you stopped and you're going to talk to us a little bit. So, I mean, you're special, as I've already told you, for two reasons. We had 3 Velomobiles sign up for the race. You know, as you know, Dave Lewis didn't make it to the line. He decided touring was more fun than racing. And Stefan, I'm not sure how you say his name, from Luxembourg, I guess it was the first day, very soon had to scratch.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened with him?
I think he had COVID, I think.
Another COVID person.
I'm not sure.
Sorry to hear that. Wow. So you're the last remaining Velomobile. Is the Velo community a small, tight community? Did you know Stefan personally, for instance?
Not before the race.
Not before the race.
No.
Did you reach out to Marcus Gaber from Switzerland?
Yeah, before the race I talked to Marcel and Dave. And to Dave I also talked during the race from day to day.
Smart. Yeah. And the second point that's exciting is not only are you the only Velo, but you're 22 years old. I mean, most kids are more concerned about partying and women rather than riding 4,200 miles, however many kilometers that is.
6,800.
Thank you very much. Why? Why does a 22-year-old want to do not just the Trans Am, but ride the Trans Am bike race?
I'm not sure really. It's I had the idea. I don't know. At some point I knew that Marcel and Dave rode it, and it was kind of the ultimate challenge for a Velomobile ride. And when I started working on the bike, designing it, I only designed the inside. The outside shape is designed by a friend of mine, Eggert Bölk. He also designed the other Milan family of Velomobiles. And I somehow wanted to prove that it works, basically. So, and it does work, actually.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And you built this in your basement, I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, actually, I signed up in December, of course, for the race, and then I started building the bike. And
were you worried that you may not have the bike ready by June?
A little bit, yeah. But I somehow had the challenge of then having to do it because there was so much already in it with flights booked and all that stuff, and so I had to do it. There was no other option. And then I didn't do it alone. My friend Daniel, he helped me a lot. He did like 30%, 40% of the building of the bike. And then I don't know. I never really thought about doing the race because I just signed up and then I had to do it. It was just a thing. And doing the entire year this year, I didn't really train much. I only trained like 1 or 2 hours per week because I was building the bike and didn't have any time for anything else.
Oh wow!
So actually, I noticed that my power increased a little bit throughout the race. So during the last days, I can put out more power than in the first days. Yeah.
So, how does one get a Velo from Germany to Astoria, Oregon? And don't tell me you bought an extra seat.
No, I took it with me as my luggage.
Oversized?
Yes.
Very, very oversized?
Yeah, just as a normal bicycle.
So when you brought that into the airport, did the people at the counter go, what are you doing with that?
They were a bit interested, but it was not really a big thing for them. They just took it and it was fine.
Interesting.
And then I arrived in Portland. And then on my way from Portland to Astoria, I actually broke my rear rim when I rode over a bridge. And it was a very hard bang and my rim broke. So that's why I actually rode from Astoria to Corvallis with a spare rim taped to my side.
I remember when you pulled out, there was somebody asked, what is that on that Velo? And I said, I think it's a bike rim. And it was. So that was a planned stop because I know you did have some repair work done at Corvallis. You knew that all along. Got it.
Yeah, actually I changed out the spokes and everything because they didn't have time, so I basically rebuilt the wheel and they just did the final tuning for me. And then in the beginning I had a lot of problems because I basically finished the bike during the race. And after descending Mackenzie Pass, I noticed that my brakes are not 100% set up right. So I had to, in Redmond I stopped and took like 7 hours and completely rebuilt my front brakes. And
So is it built now? Are you happy with it, or are you still building? You're still working on it?
well, I'm like 97% happy with it.
It's that 3%, right? That perfection is hard to come by. It's hard to come by.
I mean, during the race, I took like every now and then I start doing riding also. I took a short video of things I want to improve. So I have now like 20 videos of on my phone with ideas that I want to change on the bike. Yeah.
So there will be a 2.0 version at some stage.
I mean, this is a prototype, and I want to sell it. So I have to test it, and now I'm improving it a little bit, and then build a few more.
Sell it in the States. Why have to transfer it back, right? It'll be cheaper than that.
Oh, this is already sold.
You already sold. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said you had to sell it, but it's
No,
already
I want to
sold.
sell more of them.
Yeah. Oh no, understood. So I do want you to talk a little bit about your age, by the way. I mean, most of the racers who do really well in the Trans Am bike race are in their 40s, let's say. So, you know, they've got a long history of racing maybe, you know, physically they're more in tune about what it is to do this. I know it's a challenge, and you had to come from Germany to do this race, you know. When did that you start to think, you know, I'm going to do the Trans Am bike race and I'm going to have to build a bike, my Velo to do it?
Yeah, so the idea, like I knew about the race about, I would say, 1.5, 2 years ago, I think.
And how did you know about the race? How did you find out about the bike race?
I somehow heard of Marcel Graber riding it with the Alpha 7 prototype, and then I read up in the Velomobile forum. There's like I don't know, like 70-page discussion about the race, and I read all of that, and I was kind of fascinated by having the because you can ride like these normal like 600-kilometer rides and all that stuff, but that's all just like one day, and that's just a big challenge. And I kind of had the idea all the time, and I never really was serious about it. And then at some point I noticed that I could maybe really do it, and then sign up, and no one did it.
Yeah. Before the Velo and before finding out about the Trans Am bike race, were you riding diamond frame, you know, traditional bicycles? Were you doing
Not really. I usually used a bike from my mom. It's basically like a 30-year-old gravel bike, you could say, and I rode that maybe like 10 kilometers every week or so, but not really much, and didn't do any bike touring or anything. And then in October 3 years ago, I bought a Milan SL, so the bigger version of this one, and because I'm a sailplane pilot, so, and also I'm a lightweight aircraft builder, so I know about aerodynamics and carbon fiber and all that, and so I kind of got my eye on Velomobiles, and then I bought one, like in October, I think, 3 years ago, and I rode that the first 2 years, I think 30,000 kilometers.
Wow.
And also did some touring. And
any racing?
Yeah, I actually took part in the World Championships in 2021, I think. And I did quite good. And there actually, I finished, there was a 6-hour race. And in the 6-hour race, I think I was 7th place or something. And then Daniel Fenn, the designer of the Alpha 7, the one that Marcel Graber rode, he talked to me and he asked me why I was so slow. And then I told him I'm going to build a 20-kilo Velomobile next year. And he actually took that serious. Someone else told me later that he was afraid of me really doing it.
How much does this weigh, by the way?
Oh, it's empty about, the prototype, it's empty about 24-25 kilograms, so it's like 50 pounds.
55,
55 pounds. Yeah, and then I kind of had because I talked to Daniel also in part, and he was you cannot do that, and that was also pushing me a little that I really have to do it, because if like the best designer is telling me I cannot do it, of course I have to do it.
Of course, of course. Actually, that's almost a compliment. Yeah.
And
what an exciting story, though, by the way. Congratulations.
It really
It's
is.
been a thrill to watch your dot Velo across the United States. So
Yes.
thank you for coming all the way to America to make our race so much more enjoyable and exciting. So congratulations. Deb?
Oh, well, obviously this is a different animal from the other bikes. How was the climbs? And I heard that you're going down extremely fast, but was curious how you handled the climbs.
yeah, most climbs were fine. I only had to push 2 times. I'm of course lower than the other riders, but yeah.
What is your lowest gearing, by the way? What is your chain rating?
Oh, in the front, I cannot shift in the front. I have to just take out a piece of chain to shift in the front. So I rode to like about Ash Groove. I rode with a 57 in the front.
57 front,
Yeah, and in the rear I have a 1052 cassette.
1052 cassette in the rear.
And yeah, and at some point after Ash Groove, I changed in the front to 46 tooth, and now I'm in the west with the 46 tooth chainring.
So you went to a 46 in the front. Got it.
Yeah,
And
so
you
I
just stayed with that.
So my lowest gearing is 46.52, and I could get up most, I would say, all the hills except for the Vesuvius. After that, I had to push there, but Marcel also had to push up there. He told me.
You're not the only cyclist in Trans Am bike race. Forget the Velomobile. You're not the only cyclist that's had to walk some mountains. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, but I only had to walk once before. So all the other mountains I could
And
ride
where
up.
was that? You recall?
It
Somewhere's
was,
out in Colorado?
No, it was like 200 miles before Vesuvius somewhere.
Ah.
At some point there was a steep hill. But I only walked for half of the hill because I rode up half the way, and then I realized it doesn't make any sense because of it. I rode up at like 4 kilometers per hour and my heart rate was at like 165 beats per minute. And then I got out and pushed it, and my heart rate was at like 155, and I was going 5 kilometers per hour. So it made sense to push it up.
So you've been riding the race with the heart rate monitor then as well?
Yeah, I
too?
have heart rate monitor and power meter, so I have all the data basically. Actually, that's I
You
think,
are truly an engineer, I guess.
yeah. And I think that's actually part why I was confident that I would be able to ride it, because I rode most of the way with looking at my heart rate and power, so I knew that I would be in a range that I can sustain
That you
for
can
the whole
handle.
day. And
I'm just curious, what is that range? Because I do a lot of heart rate monitoring.
yeah, my the lowest I can ride at is about 100 beats per minute, and then I usually ride around 120.
Okay, yeah.
So that was my average for the first days. And now with the mountains, I'm more like 125 to 130 sometimes, but not much more than that. On the hills, I pushed it at 150, and then it was about 200 watts most of the time. Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. So you'll finish today. You know that. We've got some, you're actually at a detour. Right here, the route changes. Deb's got all the details on that. We'll give to you as well.
Oh yeah,
too.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
yeah.
heard about that. Yeah.
So this is the famous sheets. Welcome to the famous sheets, where many cyclists have stopped. We'll get you on the road, and I hope you make it safely for this last little bit. Congratulations. It's been a thrill. Yay, Niklas! Awesome. Thank you, sir. Give us a tour of your home. Point out what this thing is, what this baby is.
Yeah. It's just a bicycle.
It's just a bicycle.
Pedals in the front. This is for the steering. Brakes. Then I have for the front light, high beam, for the top light, high beam and low beam. Just a normal 12-speed area in the back. Yes, I can switch the navigation. If I go uphill, I put it down here.
I've noticed when you go uphill, you keep the lid open for ventilation, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I also notice you rock and roll when you go uphill.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. and then I can open.
I like the easy accessibility to food, by the way.
Yeah, that's
You know.
my.
So does the refrigerator? How does the refrigerator get power though?
And yeah. I
So
have
what's
this-
your favorite food? You're a nut guy, huh? You're not a you're not a vegetarian though, are you?
No.
You just yeah, that's a and
Yeah, it's easy to
decent
eat.
amount of water, smart. Yep, and more storage room in the back. It looks like the trunk. So where's the engine exactly? I'm a little confused. Actually, I'm looking at the engine right now. I'm looking at the engine. So this is normal. People come over and bother him.
I think I'm a police drone, so they don't overtake me.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
Beep, 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 beep. And that's how it backs up. He's off. Safe travels. Can't wait to see your bouncing dot. Niklas says one of the biggest problems is people that stop him, assholes like us. Extra busy day on US 1. This is actually the detour that he's taking. 95, you can see how backed up the road is. 95 is just crazy today, so people are getting off the interstate and doing be careful, buddy. Sure, there are a lot of very confused car drivers over there. And he's gone. Safe travels.